चलिए जी बिस्मिल्लाह करते हैं दोबारा से। अच्छा, I did told you that whatever we have learned in portfolio risk management, all of these rules, it means the selection, combination of components, etc., also apply at the program level, right? Like for example, at the portfolio level, we were talking about that we wanted to create a portfolio that is a combination of different program in such a way that we will be able to increase the reward and decrease the risk, right? That was the main objective of portfolio risk management. Same is the case at the program, you can say level as well. See, at the program level, we will be deciding what type of project is to be included and what type of project is to be excluded. So at the time, whenever we are deciding to include or exclude any, you can say, project at the program level, will be actually risk management strategy, and that inclusion and exclusion of project will be dependent upon the combination of those projects. And whenever those projects are combined together, what will be the exposure of risk of the program, whether it will increase the program risk or whether it will decrease the program risk, right? Uh, but once again, you need to keep in mind, though I have said already that the objective of the portfolio making or program making is actually a reduction of risk and increase of reward, right? Increase the reward, reduce the risk. But it does not mean that every endoyer, every time, whenever we are combining something, we are seeing our combination in a way that it will reduce risk and increase reward. Sometimes, in order to increase a reward, the program manager by him or herself will be willing to increase the risk. Why? Because it depends on their risk appetite. You understand? Like for example, once again, let me draw right here. And suppose now this is not, you can say, a single project. This is a program, right? I'm making a bigger, you can say, circle right here. This is our current program. This is our program. I'm saying PR, right? Program. And there is, for example, at this level of program, this is our, for example, the reward, or this is our kind of returns that we are generating at that level. And currently we are at that level of risk, right? At that level of risk. Whereas there is another project. If, for example, we are seeing that project in alienation of that program, it is not under this program. That project is totally different. And we say that project is right here. For example, I put that small x right here. Right? Do you think, and for example, there is perfect positive correlation between that. The perfect positive correlation means that whenever we are combining this project, this X, right? Whenever we are combining this project to the program, it won't make, you can say, that a kind of circular relationship which tends toward the left, but it will be a relationship that tends like this, right? Now, do you think that the program manager will be willing to combine, or for example, this is a relationship, whenever they combine it, their the combination, for example, this one and this one, whenever it is combined properly, the resulting portfolio will be here, the purple. It means whenever this program include this project, so it will be right here. And this dotted red line is showing the combination that whenever we are including the X, it will increase its risk exposure as well as it will increase its reward. Do you think program manager will now be willing to include this project X in their program or not, or if they are willing, so at what, you can say, what kind of factor of risk will actually help them in bringing the decision whether to accept X in our program or not. कोई बता सकता है कि अब वो ये फैसला किस बुनियाद पे करेंगे कि X को हमें कंबाइन करना चाहिए या लेके आने चाहिए अपने प्रोग्राम में या नहीं? कोई बता सकता है?
सर इसमें अपॉर्चुनिटी भी है और दूसरा ये कि डिपेंडेंसी भी हो गई है। अगर P1 के साथ X ना हो तो ये जो अपॉर्चुनिटी है वो भी उसको अवेल नहीं कर सकते, और डेफिनेटली इस रिस्क को उसको इन्वॉल्व करना पड़ेगा इस प्रोजेक्ट में।
ठीक है। अच्छा, मैंने यहाँ पे एक चीज आप लोगों के लिए लिखी, रिस्क एपिटाइट। क्या आप अभी देखें, सी whenever we are trying to move forward, it will definitely depend on your knowledge. How much knowledge do you retain in your head of the past, whatever we have studied, right? So keep in mind, whenever we are moving forward, you have to think in the combination. You do not need to only, you can say, think of that. For example, right here, we are talking about program risk management, so we are talking about something new. No, we are actually taking all those concepts what we have already learned. We need to apply those concepts right here. If, for example, I have written risk appetite right here, do you think risk appetite have to do something with this combination?
Yes sir.
No sir.
के होगा सर, इससे इसका इफेक्ट ये होगा कि अगर वो चाहता है रिस्क सीकिंग होगा तो वो इस एक्स को ऑप्ट कर लेगा कि पॉसिबल है कि मैं वो जो पर्पल डॉट है उस तरफ मूव कर जाए P1। लेकिन अगर वो रिस्क अवेल नहीं कर सकता तो वो कहेगा कि मैं रिस्क ना लूं, जहां पे हूं मैं वहीं का वहीं स्टेबल रहना चाहता हूं।
Very good, very good, very good, very good. Now, for example, their risk appetite. अब मैं risk appetite का पॉइंट डाल रहा हूँ, ठीक है? आप लोगों ने अब ये देखना है रिस्क एपिटाइट। रिस्क एपिटाइट इनका यहाँ पे है, ये पॉइंट है इनका रिस्क एपिटाइट। ये देखें कितना रिस्क ये ले सकते हैं, इतना, ठीक है? इनका जो अपना प्रोग्राम है वो लेस रिस्कियर है, इनका रिस्क एपिटाइट कितना है, इतना, इस लेवल पे। लेकिन ये रिस्क ये कितने रिटर्न्स के लिए लेना चाहते हैं, वो है ये, ठीक है? फॉर एग्जांपल ये, अब इन्होंने देखा कि भाई हम अपना रिटर्न या रिवार्ड बढ़ाने के लिए हम ज्यादा रिस्क लेने के लिए तैयार हैं, तो ये जो पर्पल है, तो क्या ये इसी लेवल ऑफ रिस्क जो इनका एपिटाइट है उस पे हायर रिटर्न इनको दे रहा है कि नहीं दे रहा है? अगर ये पर्पल लाइन को मैं दोबारा ज्वाइन करूं तो पर्पल लाइन को देखें, ठीक है? ये देखें पर्पल लाइन ऑलमोस्ट जो इनका रिस्क एपिटाइट है उतना ही रिस्क दे रहे हैं इनको, ठीक है? लेकिन रिवार्ड देखें,
सर रिवार्ड हाई है और जो रिस्क है वो ऑलमोस्ट सेम ही है।
ऑलमोस्ट सेम ही है, तो क्या ये एक्स को कंबाइन करेंगे?
यस सर, करना चाहिए।
Very good, very good. So at the same level, whenever we were talking about portfolio, it applies to the program as well. So whenever they are making, you can say adding any project, or you can say they are reducing any project. Though I have said, I'm saying once again, though I have said the main objective is to reduce risk, increase the reward, but it does not mean that organization will reduce their risk even their appetite is high. Though if they see that they can achieve a higher return with even lower risk than their appetite, they will increase their reward and decrease their, you can say, risk. But they will see that there is still an opportunity. We are capable of taking more risk. We have the appetite to take more risk. If there is further opportunity, so they will be able to combine. If they have seen that they have reached to the level of their risk appetite, they will not be willing to, you can say, move further. Then their strategy will be combining something that will increase their, you can say, reward, but reduce their, you can say, risk. So that this decision will definitely depend on the risk appetite, what the organization is committed for, or you can say what is the culture of the organization, as we have discussed earlier, that it will then depend on the risk attitude and appetite of the organization. So at the same time, it is being governed at the each level of portfolio, program, and project. So effective management of any risk that can cause misalignment between the program roadmap and its supported objective to organizational strategy will be, you can say, tackled under the program level. So at the program level, what is happening? At the program level, we see what is the roadmap of the program, and then they see that whenever we are combining different projects, whether we are capable of supporting our program objective or not, right? If yes, they are combining. If no, they are, you can say, excluding that. So program risk threshold is, you can say, identified under the program level, that whenever we are identifying something as a riskier thing. So what is our risk threshold for our program at our program level? It means what type of risk will be accepted without taking any further action. Like for example, we do not make any counter plan, we do not make any contingency, we do not make any kind of deference, we do not make any kind of you can say risk transfer, etc. Risk acceptance means that we are willing to see that if it affects us, we want to see that how we will be affected, and we think that even if we are affected, it will not deprive us from our objective, right? So that will be known as, for example, this is a risk threshold. Under this, if any factor is affecting our program, that will be known as a risk acceptance, and it will be not be, you can say, mentioned in our risk register. Whereas if something is above and beyond this level, so that will be registered, you can say, mentioned in the program risk register. Performing the initial program risk assessment, definitely we will be performing that. We will be talking about the program. See the red and purple dot. We will not be talking about single, you can say, project risk. We will be talking about the risk of program, right? At program level, we will be not considering the project as separate, but we will be considering the combination of project as one body. So that one body will be known as, you can say, our program, and we will be performing initial program risk assessment, that how our program is exposed to the risk, and developing a program risk response strategy, that if risk arise, so how the response will be carried out. Now, I would like to give you some, you can say, an example of RIFA, right? That how the RIFA commitment is carried out for their vision and mission, etc. Keep in mind, if you remember, I have told you that everything starts with the organization vision, whatever is their vision. And that is a qualitative measure, right? That is a very qualitative measure. For example, for achieving its vision or mission. So they will always see that whenever they are adding any program, that program will help them in achieving their vision or mission or not. Being a student of RIFA, could you tell me one single point what the RIFA admires in their vision or mission? What they admire in their vision or mission? Anyone? Any student?
सर अब ये तो विजन और मिशन पता होगा, फिर इस चीज को जज कर पाएंगे ना।
हाँ, आप लोगों को यूनिवर्सिटी का
मेंटेन द क्वालिटी।
आप लोग बहुत ही, आप लोगों को बहुत कम मौका मिला है कि आप ऑन कैंपस आए और देखें, तो वहाँ पे जगह जगह पे कुछ ना कुछ उन्होंने लिखा होता है। और नवीद साहब, आप तो बता सकते हैं।
सर विजन जो होते हैं सर विजन जो होते हैं वो हमारे लॉन्ग टर्म गोल्स होते हैं सर।
वो तो ठीक है,
जिधर हम
मैं रिफा की बात कर रहा हूँ कि रिफा का मिशन या विजन क्या है, व्हाट डज दे एस्पायर, ठीक है। एक तो पता होना चाहिए
Center of Excellence.
एक्सीलेंस इन व्हाट,
quality improvement.
एक्सीलेंस इन एजुकेशन है एंड रिसर्च है, ठीक है। एजुकेशन है, रिसर्च
enhancing
और
the quality of the education.
यस वन इज
इसमें
दैट,
सर
यस
इसमें सर ये है कि इसमें सर उनमें ये है कि क्वालिटी एजुकेशन और अंडर हमारी जो इस्लामिक वो जो वैल्यूज है
जी,
उसके अंदर वो रहते हुए
इनकलकेशन ऑफ इस्लामिक इथिकल वैल्यूज, ठीक है। जो एस्पायरेशन है ना उसका ये यूनिवर्सिटी का एस्पायरेशन, ठीक है। देखिए हम सब मुसलमान कुछ ना कुछ एस्पायरेशन रखते हैं। वो दूसरी बात, फॉर एग्जांपल आप किसी भी मुसलमान से पूछें कि आप जहन्नम जाना चाहते हैं तो वो क्या कहेंगे आपको?
तौबा करेगा सर,
वो तौबा करेगा कि यार क्या बात कर रहे हो यार, मैं क्यों जहन्नम जाना चाहूंगा, ठीक है। लेकिन अगर आप उससे कहें कि क्या हमारे अमाल, यानी वैसे तो ये बहुत ही यानी वो क्या कहते हैं किसी को यानी बहुत ही क्या कहते हैं उसको, यानी सवाल आप डायरेक्टली पूछ नहीं सकते या इस तरह नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन हम ये कह सकते हैं कि क्या हमारे अमाल पर वो हैं, हम जाना तो चाहते हैं जन्नत, क्या हमारे वो अमाल हैं या नहीं है, ठीक है। सेम इज द केस के हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी को काफी क्या होता है, इसका सामना भी होता है कि यूनिवर्सिटी एस्पायर फॉर इस्लामिक इथिकल वैल्यू whether they do or not. For example, we are criticized internally, externally. For money you do this, but for whenever it comes to this point, then you can say you do not aspire Islam, you aspire money, etc. These are criticism that we usually, you can say, face. But what I am trying to tell you, that in aspiration of education and research, and now Islamic ethical value, now what does the, you can say, university have created, that how they will be able to achieve this Islamic ethical value. So they have tried to, you can say, conduct different seminars and teacher trainings, how the teacher will be able to bring this Islamic ethical value approach in their teaching methodology, how they will create an aspiration that whenever our youth will enter in the industry, they will see, you can say, they will take some characteristic of Islamic ethical values in the industry, and that's how they will be able to contribute into the, you can say, country. For example, one of a, you can, strategy, now I will be talking about strategy, right? One of the strategy, what they have maintained, that in order to create this Islamic ethical value inculcation in our student, first of all, we have to train them in such a way that they need to start respecting the gender, right? They need to start respecting the gender. And according to the Islamic, you can say, values, they need to understand what is the, what gap must be kept between the gender combination, right? For this purpose, they have decided that they won't deprive. For example, you will find out the probability, or you can say the number of male student is always greater, right? You can find out the male student is always greater. If, for example, they wanted to have a gender segregated facility, so they will only provide the opportunity for male, but then what will happen? The female will be deprived out of this, you can say, opportunity of getting education. So they do not have the resources. So in order to, you can say, not to deprive the female, they have decided that, okay, we will have the combination of class where male and female will be sitting together, but with the proper, you can say, segregation. What, like, for example, what I did try to, you can say, give you that message in earlier whenever we were making a groups as well. Now there was a program which I'm now specifying. There is a program which was initiated at RIFA, that is RIFA RIMS, RIFA Institute of Media Sciences, RIMS, right? RIFA Institute of Media Sciences, right? they have started that program, and they did aspire that, because now the time is of media, and now media have to shape the culture. So they have started a program, RIMS, that we will try to bring, you can say, a youth breed which will aspire Islamic ethical value, and when they will go into the media, they will be able to spread this world of Islam to the, you can say, to not only to the nation but overall, you can say the overall, you can say the global community. Whereas what has started in the RIMS, right? There was a very much difficulty in order to implement this gender segregation policies at that department. All the media students were, you can say, usually, you can say, they were reacting, and they were arguing that the media does not have any segregation. We should not be working in segregation. And this, you can say, debate has went so long that at the end, the department, it means the university, have decided that the RIMS department will only work for male students, and they have ultimately, you can say, deprived somehow the female student. But that was on the probability that male percentage was high and the female percentage was low, right? That was a commitment. And what was that commitment? That commitment was that we need to aspire Islamic ethical value. And they have found out that there was some discrepancies, there was some deviations going on the RIMS, and they were incapable of, you can say, controlling that. So in order to reduce this risk, that will nullified their aspiration for Islamic ethical value. Like, for example, people will, and the other student will also say that, see, this is only what they say, it is not what they commit. So in order to show the commitment, what they have decided to hold the female student from the media sciences for the time being. What they have said, if we get any chance to have separate facility of department, one for male and one for female, then we will retake the admission for the, you can say, female student as well. So this you can say step is being taken for what purpose? This is a qualitative risk. And what is that qualitative risk? That qualitative risk is their brand name, what they want to associate. They want to associate their brand name with the Islamic aspiration. So they would take any action if they find it out that there is any activities or any program that is being going on, and that program will nullify the university name or university, you can say, brand name, to be alienated out of, you can say, this Islamic culture. They are committed to abandon, they are committed to eliminate, right? And they are also committed to, you can say, bring, you can say, some opportunities inside the university that can lead them in getting to that aspiration. So anyway, this was a kind of, you can say, a case of RIFA, what I wanted to share with you people, that RIFA do try to, you can say, check their risk, and they are taking, you can say, the risk assessment. They are trying to assess different programs, not only monetarily, but qualitatively as well. Like, for example, whether this program is helping them achieving the aspiration for the Islamic ethical value or not. So these points, what we have discussed. Now, the program risks go beyond the sum of the risk from each project within the program. As I told you, for the portfolio, it implies right here that all the risk, whenever you combine, does not mean that you are combining the absolute value. You have to see what are the different relationship between the projects. The standard for program management describe program risk management strategy as: number one, identify program risk threshold, what we have, you can say, discussed right here. So first of all, we need to identify the program risk threshold. It means we need to identify what level of risk is considered to be a risk that must be entered into the risk register. Second, performing an initial program risk assessment. It means we are talking about the program risk, that the program is exposed to what level of risk. Number three, developing a high level of program risk response strategy, that whenever we counter risk, so what is a risk response strategy? Now keep in mind, a response come whenever the risk actually take place, and whenever the risk take place, it ceases to be a risk. As I have told you before as well, whenever a uh, risk occurs, it ceases to be risk. It becomes what? It becomes an issue. So the risk response strategy means it is a proactive approach where we are trying to develop a strategy where we are trying to reduce the probability of threats and the impact of threat, and we are trying to increase the probability of opportunity and impact of opportunity. And then determine how risks are to be communicated and managed as a part of governance. It means that the communication must be carried out at the program level and at the project level as well, that how the communication of the program will be carried out between the project and program and the portfolio level. And finally, project. So this is, you can see, you can find out at the organizational level, the project is at the lowest level, right? It is at the operational level. You can find out it, project is actual operation which is carried out in the organization. So at the project risk management, it is a knowledge area of project management that identify what is project risk management. It is knowledge area of the project management. It means that project risk management is a part of project management that identify and manage project risk that could impact cost, schedule, or scope of baseline. Scope baseline, it means the end, you can say deliverables where we are working at. So they are actually covering the project risk. It is covering the impact. They are trying to identify the impact of cost, schedule, and scope. The project management body of knowledge guide describe project risk management as the process of conducting risk management, planning, identification, analysis, response planning, response implication, and monitoring the risk on the project. So the project management body of knowledge guide, they describe that project risk management include what? It include the risk management plan. In the risk management plan, what does they do? In the risk management plan, they identify risk of what? Project. They analyze the risk. Identification risk means what kind of event can possibly occur and impact the project. Analysis means that whenever these events take place and when they will be impacting or they will be influencing the project, so how would they influence, positively or negatively, and what is the possibility or probability of that event to occur, and what will be the impact. So this will be carried out under the analysis. Identification and analysis, it means evaluation is carried out. Response planning. Now we have identified that what kind of factor events can impact, what is their possibility, what is their impact, and now we are making a plan for response, that how will we will be responding to these possible events, whether we will be taking a proactive approach or whether we'll be taking a responsive or reactive approach. Then the response implementation, we do not plan for that. We do not only say that we will do like that, but rather we will make a response implementation. We will implement that plan, whatever the plan is being made. And finally, monitoring the risk. It means implementation is not only enough, but once you have implemented the risk management plan, you need to monitor it as well, that whether the risk management plan, whatever is being implemented, whether it is working the way what we have planned or not. So that is carried out in the project risk management. And finally, the objective of project risk management is to increase the probability and impact of opportunity, what I have said earlier, and decrease the probability and impact of threat in order to optimize the chances of project success. These risks have the potential to cause the project to deviate from the plan and fail to achieve the defined project objectives. And definitely, we say whenever we are talking about these threats, we are talking about that these are such risks that can, if the project deviates, it will fail to achieve the defined objective. And consequently, the project success is directly related to the effectiveness of project risk management. The project success is directly related to the project risk management plan. If you have effective risk management, project risk management plan, you will be able to assess, ensure the project success. Otherwise, if it is not effective, it won't work in the way. Effective project risk management means that for what purpose we have created that risk management plan, it is capable of actually insulating the organization or project out of that risk. By insulating I mean protecting. It is capable of protecting the organization or that project out of that risk, whatever have been identified in the earlier, you can say, stage, that is in identification. If you have any question in this project risk management, you can ask. If no, so then this is our final, you can say, slide of this section number 2 of the project management institute standard of risk, and that is key success factor. What we have discussed earlier as well, it is a kind of repetition, that risk management success depend on these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 areas. Number 1, that it depend on recognizing the value of risk management. Can anyone comment on that? Recognizing the value of risk management?
Sir, recognizing the value of risk management ये कि किस नौयत का है, ये जो भी हमने एक रिस्क को रिकॉग्नाइज किया है वो किस नौयत का है, आया वो ज्यादा इम्प्लीकेशन होंगी इसकी हमारी प्रोजेक्ट पे या कम होंगी या मीडियोकर होंगी, इस तरह।
सर ये वही चीज है जो मैंने प्रेजेंटेशन में बताई थी, जिसके अंदर हम इम्पैक्ट और पॉसिबिलिटी का क्रॉस चेक करते हैं तो हमें पता लग जाता है कि ये जो रिस्क है ये हमारे प्रोजेक्ट के ऊपर कितना इफेक्ट करने वाला है।
जी।
ये वही वैल्यू की बात है कि कौन सा जो ऐसा रिस्क है जो सबसे ज्यादा।
अच्छा, ये उसने शान, आपने बड़ी अच्छी चीज ये याद दिलाई। All of you people were given a task to read that chapter. See, the first point in that chapter was risk awareness. ठीक है, वो रिस्क अवेयरनेस में क्या एफर्ट था, कोई बता सकता है? जिन्होंने प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं दी थी उसमें से कोई बता दे कि रिस्क अवेयरनेस में आप लोगों ने क्या सीखा। रिस्क अवेयरनेस जो फर्स्ट स्टेज है, द फर्स्ट स्टेज इन द रिस्क मैनेजमेंट इज रिस्क अवेयरनेस।
मैं बताऊं सर?
जी, जिन्होंने प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं दी वो बताएं।
अच्छा, ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस का माइंडसेट बन जाता है रिस्क मैनेजमेंट के लिए।
जी, रिस्क मैनेजमेंट के लिए माइंडसेट बन जाता है। और ये माइंडसेट किस बुनियाद पे बनता है कि ये बुरी चीज है या अच्छी चीज है?
ये अच्छी चीज है। वो हाँ। उसके अंदर एक क्वेश्चन आया था एजिलिटी का और रेसिलियंस का। हाँ, तो वही चीज हम अचीव करते हैं। वो एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को एहसास हो जाता है कि अगर हम अपने एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स की वजह से अपने आप को चेंज नहीं करेंगे तो वो आगे जाके बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम्स आएंगी। तो वो क्या करते हैं, जब वो रिस्क अवेयरनेस उन्हें आ जाती है तो जो सी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन या प्रोजेक्ट या प्रोग्राम है वो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता एजिलिटी की तरफ जाते हैं ताकि वो इन रिस्क वगैरह को क्या कहते हैं कम से कम कर सके।
वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड। चले इसको और भी मजेदार बना देते हैं। ठीक है, रिकॉग्नाइजिंग द वैल्यू ऑफ रिस्क मैनेजमेंट। सबसे पहले हम ये कहते हैं मुसलमान होने के लिए क्या जरूरी है? सबसे पहले मुसलमान होने के लिए क्या जरूरी है?
कलमा।
कलमे में क्या?
ला इलाहा,
यकीन। यकीन।
कलमे का पहला हिस्सा ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, ये क्या है? ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह क्या है?
There is no one.
There is no one except God. एक ही मबूद है, अल्लाह। उसकी आपके कह सकते हैं सब मलकियत है, सब उसके काबू में है, सब उसके तहत में है। देखें, जब ये यकीन होगा ना, तभी इस्लाम पे क्या हो सकते हैं, हम कारामद हो सकते हैं। जब ये यकीन नहीं होगा ना, तो हम कुछ करेंगे, कुछ नहीं करेंगे। जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल हम देखते हैं, कारोबार करते हैं तो हमें मुनाफा दिखता है, तो हम ये देखते हैं कि अगर तोल में कमी की जाए तो मुनाफा ज्यादा हो जाएगा, तो हमारा यकीन मुनाफे की तरफ चला गया, अल्लाह से हट गया। तो यहाँ पे भी यही चीज है कि रिकॉग्नाइजिंग द वैल्यू ऑफ रिस्क मैनेजमेंट, कि अगर तो हमारा यकीन है रिस्क मैनेजमेंट पे, तो हम रिस्क मैनेजमेंट को ट्रू एफर्ट में क्या करेंगे, इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे। अगर हमारा यकीन ही नहीं है कि दिस इज नॉट अ वैल्यूएबल थिंग, would you think we will be implementing the risk management plan effectively? No, we won't. So the first thing what make the risk management success is recognizing the value of risk management, that everyone in the organization from top to bottom, everyone recognize that the risk management activities are valuable. This generate value, it generate rewards, it help us in achieving our objective. We will never be lost of track. So this is the first point, recognizing the value of risk management.
सर पहले इस जो फिक्रा है ना, इसका कंसेप्ट और सेंस में हम ले रहे थे। अभी हम समझ गए कि आप ये कहना चाह रहे हैं, जिस तरह घर में फादर जो सबसे बड़ा होता है, उसकी वैल्यू हमें पता होनी चाहिए कि अगर वो कुछ कहता है तो वो सही कह रहा है, हमारे बेनिफिट के लिए कह रहा है। तो आप यही कहना चाह रहे हैं कि जो हम रिस्क की जो वैल्यू है, मतलब कि रिस्क हमें क्या फायदा दे सकता है अगर हम इसको इसकी वैल्यू को हम मतलब मानते हैं।
रिस्क नहीं, रिस्क मैनेजमेंट, रिस्क और
रिस्क मैनेजमेंट, हाँ, जो मतलब रिस्क को मैनेज करने वाले हैं, उनकी क्या मतलब कि वैल्यू है प्रोजेक्ट के अंदर, कि वो कितना हमें पंप कर सकते हैं या बूस्ट कर सकते हैं अगर वो सही पॉइंट पे हैं।
जी जी, देखें, रिस्क मैनेजमेंट वाले कोई सेपरेट लोग नहीं होते। कीप इट माइंड, देयर इज नो सेपरेट पीपल फॉर रिस्क मैनेजमेंट। रिस्क मैनेजमेंट
ये हम आपस में कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहे होते हैं।